Welcome to episode 3 of Yap Time. I'm Trevor.
I'm Raven.
Hi, Raven.
Hi, Trevor.
I love you.
Okay, nobody wants to see that.
Okay. Whatever. Um, yeah, welcome. Episode 3. We're here. We've got some fun stuff in store today. I'm gonna be telling a really fun story about how I almost didn't graduate high school,
Mm-hmm.
despite being an incredible student. Um, Always on time to class, always
Mm-hmm.
getting straight A's. Never loud, never annoying. I was basically the perfect student. And why are you looking at me like that?
No, I'm just thinking it's because, okay, so I haven't really heard about what we're talking about today. I know that you're going to tell that story,
Hmm.
but I'm just thinking about all the things I know about you in school. And I'm just having a flashback to where I thought you were a good kid. Is that what I thought of you?
I don't know. Why are you asking me what you
I
thought of
think
me?
I didn't think you were this weird when I met you. I think I perceived you to be like just really academic and pretty like straight edge.
That's crazy. That's what you think. You thought I was like an academic, like intelligent person.
Not like super into school or
Oh,
anything, okay?
okay.
But like I definitely didn't think you got into shenanigans. I thought you were just a pretty normal guy.
I think that I did. I got into my fair share of shenanigans, but I wasn't a troublemaker.
Mm.
I think like I was simultaneously like probably kind of like a I don't know. This is like I'm psychoanalyzing my high school self now. I wasn't like a class clown, but I
Mm.
would make jokes. And I
Okay.
wasn't like a troublemaker, but I would cause disruptions occasionally. Like I never did things frequently enough that it's like, oh, that's like his thing, you know?
Mm.
I think I like picked and chose my moments to be
Mm.
just I don't know. It's such like a weird. I don't think I wouldn't consider myself like I was a I don't know a bit of a teacher's pet. Like I was a good student and I was like chill with all my teachers, but
Mm. I would kill to see you in high school. That's like one of those things that I always think about and I try to imagine and like I would love to know high school Trevor.
high school Trevor was a big dork, honestly. Like I think that like I had zero confidence in high school.
Mm.
And when you met me, I'm not like a confident person, you know? I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't say like when you met me, I'm like, I was this, super confident guy, but back in high school, like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, imagine like when you first met me and then I was even like kind of less confident in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like I didn't
Even less?
even less,
Is
I don't
that
know.
possible?
Yeah, I just wasn't like,
When I met Trevor, he was going through it.
yeah.
You were at a low point in your life.
Well, I was going through it in high school too. That's when I first started going through it. So,
Tell us about it.
okay, well, let me take you back to when I was born. Um, No, I mean, in high school, I was like kind of a popular kid, quote unquote. You
I'm not
can't,
judging
you
you.
can't look at the camera with a judgmental look every time I say
I
something.
didn't.
Okay, audio listeners, she did. Um, no, I just did a lot of. I was a part of a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
so I think I was popular by proxy, and also I went to a small private Christian school,
Mm-hmm.
so my graduating class was 70. So it's easy to be popular when
That's
you
so
only.
crazy. 70 is insane.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's bonkers. I don't know what my class size was, but it was probably like 3 to 500.
Yeah.
70 is like two of my classes.
I think it was around 350 that was at my whole high school campus, which was 7th through 12th grade. I think there was like a total of like around 350 to 400 students.
Wow.
So it's not hard to be popular when that's the amount of people that
Mm-hmm.
you have to get to like you.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier. And it's easier when you're super funny and handsome like I am
Mm-hmm.
too.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
What?
Like I wasn't popular in high school. Sorry.
Stop.
I'm just projecting. Keep going.
No, it's actually funny. We've like talked about that. Like, I feel like we mentioned like, oh, like would you have been into me in high school or would I have been into you in high school?
Mm. I don't think I would have been into you just because I wasn't into dating.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I cannot emphasize this enough how embarrassing my life was and like is. Like, I'm just so many typical tropes of like, I want it to be different.
You're
And
not
like, I'm
embarrassing.
probably like the original pick me girl to some degree. Not like the really loud, like, is a cheerleader pick me girl, but like
Mm-hmm.
the rejects sports pick me girl, like, ugh.
Mm.
So I don't even want to think about it, but I don't think I would have messed with you,
Okay.
unfortunately.
All right.
I probably would have scared you, I think. I don't think you would
I
have
think
messed with
so.
me.
Well, it's funny in high school, actually, like looking back, and again, every word that's coming out of my mouth, I feel like I'm sounding like such a douchebag, like so arrogant. Um, but like, I think I was very oblivious to anything romantically related. Like
Mm,
genuinely, like I never perceived myself in high school as like an attractive person or like
mm,
a desirable person. Like
mm,
I would never, if you'd asked me, like if I thought anyone had a crush on me in high school, I would have been like, no, never. Like if you asked me in high school, I'd been
mm.
like, no, I don't think anyone has a crush on me.
Oh my god. Anyone who had a crush on Trevor in high school, comment down below. We need to know.
But no, I did a lot of things. I mean, I was captain the basketball team. I was in theater and choir. I was in the student body government.
Yeah, I recently found that out and I thought that was crazy.
Yeah.
Imagine Trevor being your student body government. Like, I don't know about you guys, but my people in charge were like the super nerds.
Mm,
Like super smart, super reliable. Like, um, the person who was president or whatever is like planning our 10-year reunion. Like,
mm-hmm.
he's that guy, you know?
Yeah.
And then you got Trevor. Are you
Okay.
planning your 10-year reunion?
No, I mean I've got 2 years. And also I'm the vice president. So sorry, Nick. It's up to you. Um, no, but I was an intelligent person. I was in like I was actually like you're making it sound like oh you're dumb. Like I wouldn't expect you to be.
You're just so unserious. I'm not saying you're dumb. I'm just saying you're a silly guy.
That's fair. I was very unserious. And honestly, the whole thing was pretty unserious. Our
Okay.
student body government was not like it wasn't like a buttoned up thing. It
Mhm.
was like, I don't know, Nick and I, my one of my best friends in high school, Nick and I,
Mhm.
we kind of ran as a joke
Mhm.
where like we were like at track practice one day and we were like, it'd be hysterical if we like ran for like vice president and president and then
Oh
we
no.
did it and then we got elected and then we didn't do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty standard actually.
Yeah.
But
Um,
I mean, tell us about you almost getting kicked out of high school
okay.
or failing or whatever the
Yeah.
story is. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, high school. I almost got expelled. Um, it was my senior year. It was my senior year, like months before graduate, like a couple months before graduation. I remember because it was right around the time that it was our like district track meet. It was right around that time, so it was in the spring. Literally, could have been like a month and a half before graduation type shit, type
Mhm.
crap. Sorry.
Type
Um,
shit.
and I was in economics class.
Mhm.
Mr. James, lovely guy, the colonel. Not like Sanders. He was, he's retired. Anyway, not important.
Mhm.
Mr. James, lovely guy, taught economics, fun class. I actually, fun fact, if I had gone to college and not gone to culinary school, like if I just like applied to go to like Boise State,
Mhm.
I likely would have pursued an economics degree.
Whoa.
I know, which is weird to say, right? Like
That is crazy.
I could be an economist right now or like a financial analyst or something.
Mhm.
I don't know. That's weird.
You're
Um,
too unserious for that. I don't want to be like getting reports from you and you're just cracking jokes. You're like, I don't know. I don't know. I can't think of economic terms, but you would throw Chungus in there and like it would just be a
yeah.
mess.
Be like the Dow is kind of like me every time I look at my wife. Up, stiff, erect. I
Okay,
don't know.
stop, stop, stop.
Sorry. That wasn't well
That was
crafted.
just, I was just, yeah.
I'll get on with the story. I'll stop going
No,
off on
I'm sorry.
tangents. Okay, so economics class. We had a lot of we would do like take home quizzes. And I mean they're take home and they're like our teacher is very clear, like, yeah, like they're open book, like whatever, like you can go home, just take the quiz, whatever. Um, which is so funny. Like, actually, I don't know if it was clarified that they were open book, but either
Well, if
way,
you're taking it home, it's implied.
he wasn't. Yeah, Mr. James was a smart man. He wasn't oblivious to the idea that we would be going home,
Right.
and so like with that context, this is even sillier. My friend Nick and I, who
Mhm.
is my, my running mate,
Mhm.
um, we were out, it was like a Thursday, but we were in, we were out in downtown Boise eating dinner with him and some of his Boise Philharmonic Youth Orchestra friends
Okay.
because Nick played the cello in the Boise Philharmonic Youth orchestra.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay. Nick Lore.
he was a cellist,
Mhm.
very talented. He has a lot of really terrible things to say about the violin. Um,
Okay.
he's a cello homer. um, we're in downtown and we're getting dinner with yeah, just some of our friends, and we remember that we have an econ quiz due, and they were always
Mm,
due at like 8, so it wasn't even like a midnight sitch. So we're like out at dinner and we're like,
mm,
oh, like we're not gonna be able to get home and finish this. So we both just whip out our phones, and they're like 10-question quizzes.
mhm,
And we were both like, I mean, we're very good students. I know like what I've said up to this point and how I am as a person. I probably don't seem like a good student,
mhm,
but I mean, we're like smart, you know? We were in, I mean, that was like me and all my best friends. Like, we were in a lot of honors and AP classes. Like, that was kind of
mhm.
like, you know, we're nerds. Me and all my friends are nerds because, you know, all my friends are gamers. So, um, they're losers like me.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Um,
Oh.
but yeah, we both just get on our phones and we just bust this quiz out.
Mhm,
And we weren't even like cheating with it. We weren't like going over, we just were on our phones. We did the quiz, we submitted it, we got back to dinner, whatever.
mhm.
And then like the next, like a couple days later, we get like called in because we were caught with a group of people who were cheating,
Uh-huh.
and like taking the quiz together because we submitted it at like the same exact time. So like we started the quiz and
Mhm.
submitted it at the same exact time.
Just right before 8.
Like, yeah, like pretty soon to when it was supposed to be due, like we
Mhm.
submitted it at the same exact time.
Okay.
Um, and then like we had all the same answers,
Mhm.
and we like because we got all of them right, and
Mhm.
so we both
Oh.
had all the same answers, whatever. And we got lumped in, unfortunately, with a group of other people who
Mm.
were not as good of students and definitely were
Mhm.
like just talking to each other and taking the quizzes together,
Probably actually cheating.
like actually cheating as much as you can cheat on a take home quiz.
On a 10-question
On a
take-home
like
quiz.
a 10-question take home quiz. But for whatever reason, like I think that they had done it. I think that they were kind of repeat offenders. Like I think that
Mm.
they'd done it a lot, like it was like a pattern of behavior. And our quiz happened to get lumped in with theirs, and they're like, you guys are like in trouble for cheating.
Oh, no.
and and it's so funny that it turned into this big deal because they were like, okay, you need to just come in and take the quiz on paper. And I was
Okay.
like, yeah, that makes sense. That's fine. But it wasn't even our teacher, it was the school guidance counselor.
Mhm.
And again, this is like weird, like small private school politics, whatever reason the guidance counselor would have a say in this. But the guidance counselor was like, well, you have to come in on a Saturday and take it. And I was like,
Okay.
I can't stay like 20 minutes after school one day.
Uh-huh.
She's like, no, you have to come in on a Saturday and take it. But the Saturday that she wanted us to take it was the Saturday of the district track meet. And my friend Nick
Uh-huh.
also ran track, and his dad was the head coach of the track team.
Oh god.
Um, and
That counselor just wanted to be like the Breakfast Club. She was like, "Coming on Saturday."
yeah, no, literally. And I would have been Anthony Michael Hall, and Nick would have been God, what's his name? Emilio Estevez, his character. Um, I think I don't know who would have been Judd Nelson.
I would have been the weird girl.
Yeah. Oh,
That's
you would have.
me.
You're so
Ugh,
weird.
so
I
different.
I probably would have been I probably would have been you're Ali Sheedy and I am Molly Ringwald.
Yeah, you're so Molly
I'm so
Ringwald.
Molly Ringwald. Actually my dad calls me Tony. There's like a
Mhm.
select group of people in my life that call me Tony. And that nickname is actually from Anthony Michael Hall because when I was a kid I kind of looked like Anthony Michael Hall in The Breakfast Club.
Mm.
So,
Do you believe that? Do you agree?
yeah, looking back at the time in my life, like when I had braces and I had like my hair was a lot more ginger when I was younger
Mhm.
and it was like kind of poofy and it was actually like I did look a little bit like Anthony Michael Hall.
Aw.
So then I became Tony and now my dad to this day like still calls me Tony.
Mhm.
Possibly more than he calls me Trevor.
100% more than he
Yeah.
calls you Trevor.
So anyway,
I can hear him, like, when you answer the phone, just,
yeah.
"Tony."
Tony. He does. He has a very specific way of saying it. Actually, this is gonna be sad. This is gonna come across sad, but one thing I've always thought, like, if if my father were to ever like die tragically,
Mhm.
or I don't know, who knows when my dad's gonna, take a dirt nap. He had
Mhm.
cancer at one point, so there was a scare. He's
Mhm.
okay now. But I always thought, like, if something did happen, I, like, save all of my dad's voicemails, and
Mm.
so many of them, he starts with, like, "Tony," and so I would wanna do, like, a little tattoo of, like, the sound, like,
Yes,
you know how I get,
the
like,
waves.
the sound
Mhm.
waves, yeah, of him saying, "Tony."
That's so sweet.
Anyway,
It's not
yeah,
sad.
yeah.
It's also funny that you said dirt nap because he always says dirt nap to his dad.
Yeah.
He's like, "When are you gonna take a dirt nap?" Different vibes, different vibes.
Different vibes. So yeah, it's a Saturday. He wants us to come in and take this quiz, and Nick's dad, like, comes back and he's like, "No, they're not gonna come in on Saturday. It's the district track meet." We're
Mhm,
both competing.
mhm.
He's like, "No, like, they're not gonna come in. They can't come in." And she literally said, she was like, "Well, if they don't come in and take this quiz on Saturday, then we're gonna have to, like, expel them or they won't walk at graduation."
Oh my god.
And Nick's dad, like, just went ballistic. Like, I don't know what happened. Nick told me that his dad just, like, went to war.
Oh my
Um,
god.
because, like, yeah, she was like, "You guys," and there was this, like, whole, like, written out thing that went out, like, to our parent, like, my parents as well, and it was just this whole thing. She's like, "If they don't come in on this Saturday and take this quiz this Saturday, they're not gonna walk at graduation."
How does that make any sense? That doesn't make any sense because it's not like even if you failed that quiz, you wouldn't have failed the grade, failed graduation, graduating. She's just a hater.
That's what I'm saying. I think
Sorry if you're listening, counselor, but
yeah.
that's bonkers and unnecessary. But I guess it's because they thought you were cheating.
I think it's because they thought we were cheating, but also, like, and again, not to be a hater, but, like, Nick and I, we, like, aced every test, every written test that we'd take in class. Like, we would take home quizzes, but then we would have tests in class, and we got good grades on all of them. Like, it was clear that we weren't,
Mm,
like, cheating,
mhm,
but then also all the other people in the class, they weren't in, like, running track, so they were able to go in. So it was literally, like, targeted at Nick and I, that,
mhm.
like, if they don't come in on this Saturday, I don't know. Honestly, looking back, there might have been a personal vendetta because
Whoa.
our guidance counselor was one of the she was her daughter was in my grade. She
Okay.
was a mother of one of the students, and her daughter was in my grade, in Nick and I's grade. So I don't know if there was, like, some beef that she had with us that I didn't know about, or
Oh.
beef with me. Um,
Is her daughter the one who invited you over to watch Napoleon Dynamite? Okay.
no. No, but her daughter was in that, friend group, um, and there was some God, this is a story for another time and another
Whoa.
podcast way down the line. Um, you know what? There was, like, I don't know. It's honestly how it's funny how, like, I think that there were a lot of things said about me actually in high school that weren't true, and specifically as it relates to that group of friends.
Whoa.
Um, and so
Are you gonna share?
I think that there was just, like, I was really good friends, with, like, this group of people, and then some things happened, and I sort of started getting left out of stuff, and,
Oh.
like, just, like, not invited to, like, people's, like, birthday parties, or, like, they would just, like, go hang out and do stuff that, like,
Oh,
normally,
gross. Mhm.
and then I actually did find out kind of later, like, pretty close to when I was supposed to graduate, that, yeah, there was a person who was just kind of telling lies about me to everyone in
Ew.
that group and sort of pushed me out.
Ew.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've been there actually, and that
Mhm.
reminds me of kind of my high school situation.
Yeah.
Lots of mean girls. Girls are
Mhm.
mean.
Yeah.
It happens. I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. It's just so then, like, honestly, I hadn't even thought about that until now that, like, maybe that
Mhm.
was a contributor. Maybe because also all these people, like, she was the type of person, she wasn't the one that was, like, saying these about me, but the guidance counselor's daughter, she was the type of person to, like, tell her mom everything.
Mm, mhm.
Um, and so that would
She was going to bat for her daughter. She's like, "I got you, honey."
perhaps, yeah,
He's not gonna
perhaps,
graduate high school.
he's not gonna graduate high school. So, yeah, it's very silly, and then Nick's dad kinda just, like, like, got really upset, and then nothing ever happened. We just took the quiz some other time, and we graduated. That's literally the story, is just, like, she just tried to, like, pull this weird stunt of, like, "You're
Wow.
not gonna walk if you don't take it on this day." Nick's dad was pissed. My parents were like, "That's insane." Like,
Mhm.
everyone involved was like, "No, this is, like, a very weird thing for
Yeah.
you to be, like, demanding
Oh.
or saying."
Well, now that you're saying that there could be more, I feel like maybe there was then, because it is a really weird, like, bone to pick with a kid. Just be
Yeah.
like, no, you have to do it on Saturday. I don't know. Very
Yeah.
weird.
No, it was. I mean, you're right. I don't know. Maybe she thought that we were like arrogant and thought that we could just get away with anything. Like,
Hmm.
I don't know, because Nick and I were. I mean, we were. I don't know. We were probably kind of d bags a little bit. Like, I think
Hmm.
that there's probably like, I don't know, maybe that vibe, that aura. Who knows?
Too much aura.
Too much aura. Um. So yeah, that's the story of how I almost got expelled and didn't walk.
But you
Um.
did. Congrats.
I did. I graduated high school
That's really big.
despite, and I think I still aced that economics quiz.
But you did.
Yeah. Yeah, I know about laissez-faire and Francis Scott Key for all you econ heads out there. That's what we
No
call
one.
ourselves.
Shut
No
up.
one.
When I took economics in college, I had a huge crush on my economics professor. And now that I think about it, he kind of looks like you.
Do I need to fight him?
He has a wife, and I don't. He's in El Paso, I think. So you're fine, probably.
Probably. What do you mean
Well, I mean,
probably?
he knows a lot more about economics than you do. So that's pretty much the only front where he's got you beat. But
Mm.
you know, if the scenario ever
Pretty
comes up,
much.
yeah, where you guys have to 1v1 each other, you might want to brush up on your econ.
I just won't bring it up. I'll
Okay.
just try and skirt the topic probably. But now I do need to mentally prepare for that eventual inevitable battle. I've been to your college,
Yeah.
UTEP,
Uh-huh.
University of Texas, El Paso. Go
Go Miners.
Miners. That's
Go Miners.
Go Miners.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm more of a crafter fan myself.
The heck? Is this a RuneScape joke?
All right.
Well,
I'm
is
gonna
this,
I'm
is
gonna
this a
give you
Minecraft joke?
Minecraft.
Okay.
There it is.
Sorry. Oh, that's so embarrassing. Okay.
It could have been a RuneScape joke. Mining is a skill in RuneScape and crafting is a skill.
Okay, so why would you judge me? That was literally, I did the best I could with the information I had at the
I
time.
wasn't judging you.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, you took me to the UTEP campus and we just kind of like
Mhm.
went on campus.
Yeah, in the middle of the night. There was a lot of roaches everywhere.
Dude, it was crazy.
They
the
were like
amount.
hanging out.
There were so many and they were gigantic.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is fun. So if you're from El Paso, you know our roaches are huge. I mean, like if you're watching the video, I would say they get, I don't know how big is this, like 2 full inches, if not more, long. And I mean, in California, anyways, the roaches I've seen, they're like little tiny babies, little baby roaches, like the size of a penny. Um,
Mm.
but no, we were walking around campus and just in the middle of the street, literally
Mhm.
like they're having a bonfire or something. They're hanging out in groups, like facing each other. It's so freaking weird.
Yeah.
Just roaches on the sidewalk, and then they would disperse when we got close. It was disgusting. Anyways, that school is really nice though.
Yeah.
I think just infected with roaches
Yeah.
that come out at night, I guess.
No,
How are you, Tep?
it was crazy. It was insane. Like the roach genuinely, it was like we were bobbing and weaving.
It was
like,
terrifying.
through the street.
It was not okay.
It
It's like my worst nightmare, actually.
Yeah. It's really awful too because unfortunately I hate bugs. But Raven also hates bugs,
Mhm.
and so I'm the de facto bug killer now.
Of course.
Unfortunately, I have to be a man sometimes, and grow up and be strong and be brave. And that's one of the things where I've had to be really brave about bugs.
I know. You've done so good. He's killed all of the bugs.
I've killed a lot of bugs.
Yeah.
I've gotten better at it.
I know you don't want to. Even while you're doing it, you're like scared.
It's
Sometimes we
scary.
scream together,
Yeah.
but you do it.
Yeah.
And I think that says a lot about you.
Literally the other night, we found a bug in our bathroom and like got it, killed it, sprayed it, whatever.
Mhm.
But then like the rest of the time that you were getting ready for bed, you were so scared. So I was literally just standing in the bathroom while you were getting ready,
Yeah.
just looking at the ground.
Yeah, well, okay, so
Watching.
there's a little roach in our bathroom. When I respect the way you told me, I'm getting ready for bed. I think I'm like, I don't know, washing my face or something. And you were like, exit the premises. And I just like,
Evacuate.
yeah, I literally got up and like ran out and I was just standing outside and you were like, it's a bug. And then you went and got the bug spray and you took care of it. But then, nightmare situation. He sprays the bug. It goes under our sink cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
Like not into the cabinet, under the cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
And so you lined it with bug spray. But like, then I had to go wash my face with my little toes down there by
Yeah.
the crack where the roaches went in. And so I was like, you need to watch.
Yeah.
And so he stood posted up and he washed
Watch.
my toes.
I mean, the roach is definitely dead. I got it really good with the spray, but it was one of those things where like he's in his death throes, like kind of writhing
He
about,
could've, yeah.
crawling.
He could have ran out, you know, like all cracked out on cocaine or whatever,
Yeah.
and like freaking ran up my toes. I was not
and
messing around.
and killed you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would have been
Anyway,
a murder.
that's how I almost got expelled.
Oh my
um
god, what are we on about now?
no, I mean that was it. I feel like that wasn't really. I'm trying to think if there's any other controversial high school things that I did, because high school is kind of a bit of a blur for me in some
Mm,
ways. 'Cause that was the first. I mean, my junior year is when I first started like struggling with depression really bad, and so
mm,
there's like a lot of like gaps and stuff. Like
mm,
I was also like going through my growth spurt. Like I went through my
mhm.
growth spurt later, so I was like very hormonal, and like I was I was like a menace when I was a junior. I've like apologized multiple times to my family and friends for how I was when I was like a
Really?
junior in high, like that specific year. I was terrible. I chased my friend Elias with a knife.
Dude, literally in the other episode, you commented about how your dad chased his brother throwing knives at him,
Yeah.
and you said that you wouldn't do that.
Well,
And
that
you were like, I'm a good person, dad. What's up?"
I don't think that's how it went exactly. Also, I wasn't chasing my brother, I was chasing my friend Elias, and to be
Okay.
clear, he deserved it. He was being really annoying. And it wasn't actually chasing him with a knife. It was more of like he was being annoying and I pulled a knife out of the kitchen block as a bit. And now the way that he likes to tell the story is that I was ruthlessly running around Michael Myers style trying to stab him, and that's just not how it went down. But no, I feel bad for my mom. My mom had to deal with the brunt of it. I was like very like wouldn't get up for school. Like I was just like very
Mm,
tired all the time.
mhm.
And she would like have to like drag me out of bed, and I feel bad. She even says you took a couple years off my life when you
Oh,
were a junior,
no.
and so we're cool now.
Oh, yeah, your mom's the best.
Yeah. She gets it. She understands. Y-
I imagine that I probably also started getting depressed in high school,
mhm.
but I just didn't know it at the time.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, funny actually story going back to the guidance counselor that tried to get me and Nick expelled. She was also the person that forced me into her office and forced me to tell her that I was depressed.
wait, what?
I got called out of was it I think it was choir. I was this was like first semester of my junior year.
Uh-huh.
I was not doing well mentally and I was in some really difficult classes. I had a lot of difficult classes on my schedule and I just wasn't keeping up in them. I was like
Mhm.
failing AP physics because honestly, physics is, if you like physics, props to you. That not for me.
Mm-mm.
Also, my physics teacher was like, he was like notorious for being like having just the most, God, I loved him. And I took all of my math classes in high school with him. And he's like one of the gentlest and sweetest human beings of all time. But
Mhm.
he was a menace when it came to creating math problems because he would write all of his own tests and he would pull the craziest stuff where he'd just do numbers like to the like 10th decimal. He was like that kind of person where he's like, this
Mhm.
is like 22.056874, and then we'd have
Ew.
to get like the answer to the decimal, and it was
Mhm.
brutal. So I was failing AP physics. And I also was like not doing well in my AP language class. Um, and I wrote some upsetting essays, I think, at some point. Anyway, not like upsetting. I was
I'm
just
not getting clarity on who you were as a high school student. If anything, I'm getting more confused.
it's
None of this goes with the other parts of the story, you know? Like, you're just like a little jigsaw puzzle.
yeah. Well, that's because like I'm talking about my junior year now. We were talking about my senior year.
Okay.
This was like this like first semester of my junior year genuinely is like one of like it was rough. Like this was the roughest
Okay. So this is like a different
semester.
chapter, different Trevor.
This is a different chapter, different Trevor. I was not doing okay. And I got called out of choir, which was like seventh period. I got called out at the end of the day into her office, and she just goes like, "Hey," like she like closes the door, and she goes like, "Hey, what's going on? Like, notice you're struggling in some of your classes," and basically just like kind of just like interrogated me a little bit
Mhm.
about like what was going on, and like until I just told her that like I was like not doing okay and
Mm.
having not healthy thoughts,
My
and
God.
just like locked me in there, and then told my parents without telling me,
Mm.
which is like, I'm pretty sure that's like, you're not supposed to do that.
I think if they have a fear that you might like hurt yourself,
Yeah.
they're like allowed. They're like, I'm not just allowed, but like they're supposed to.
Encourage you.
But
Yeah.
that feels really icky. It just feels weird. It feels like she coerced like a confession out of you.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what it felt like. Like, it did
Mm.
feel icky. Anyway, then she, got that out of me. I went back to choir, and then she told my parents, and then I got put into therapy. Um Therapy, getting put into therapy was so funny. I really I love my parents, and I appreciate my parents because they were basically like, we just want you to try this. Like, she told us this. We just want you to try it once, and if it really isn't for you, then don't feel like you have to like
Mhm.
go back. And being an arrogant 17-year-old, or God, 16-year-old at that point, I, went to one therapy session, and like didn't really talk that much, and
Mhm.
was like, I'm fine. Like, I know that what's wrong with me or whatever. Like, I don't need this kind of
Mhm.
crap. And it didn't go again. When it probably would have been pretty healthy for me to start doing that.
Mhm.
But then I didn't go back. And I dropped AP Physics and joined what is essential. Oh my God, applied science.
Mm.
That became my new science class. And that was the funniest. Oh my God.
Is this your workshop class?
This is my shop class. Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically shop, but it's not like wood shop. It was like
Mhm.
we made like a Rube Goldberg machine,
Yeah.
like a balsa wood bridges, stuff
Dude,
like
I
that.
remember doing that in 7th grade science.
Yeah. No, unfortunately, and this is gonna sound, bad, but it was it. I mean, it was kind of the stereotypical, like, not like if you're just kind of looking to cruise through a science class, like
Mm.
that's the science class to do it.
Yeah.
Um, and cruise I did my way to a D or
Nice.
like a C. I didn't do any work. I convinced my teacher. We were all supposed to make like balsa, like toothpick bridges, but like
Mhm.
balsa wood, whatever. Um, and it's like a solo like project, whatever. And I convinced my teacher. I was like, hey, I was like, you want to do one with me? And for whatever reason, he said yes. And he basically built the whole thing.
Mm.
And I
See,
didn't,
that's a good teacher.
yeah, but then he still didn't give me a good grade for it because he's like, you didn't do any work on it. And I was like,
Oh.
that's fair. Like, I can't fault you for that, you know?
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
and then like a lot of the other ones, like group projects. And I don't know. I wasn't intending to be a bad classmate. But again, I wasn't doing
Mm.
well.
I have so many tiny tidbit stories that come up while you're talking, but I'm like,
Share
I don't even
them.
know what. I have many things to say. I have.
I'm ready.
They're just related vaguely. You'll understand.
No, this is good.
Um, One time in like middle school. Ugh. Was it middle school? Like, oh, it's because I'm thinking, I don't know how this happened, but I can remember multiple times where as like a kid, before like social media, like maybe MySpace time, but we had phones, but like there wasn't like Instagram that we were all on.
Mhm.
Me like getting somebody's number, like how was I doing that? Is why I'm freaking out. I'm like, why was I talking to these people? Um, but I remember being in like middle school and I was messaging or talking to this guy who was like in high school,
Mhm.
which now I'm like a red flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyways, super funny because he was like a stoner and
Mhm.
I hadn't done drugs yet. I was in middle school. And
Yeah.
I was like, shut
You've
up.
you've done drugs?
Are we gonna go here right now?
I'm sorry. Continue. I'm sorry.
So I was like really concerned for him. I was like, why are you smoking like all the time? And so you know what middle school Raven did?
What'd you do?
She found the counselor's email and she emailed his counselor saying, I'm worried about this guy because he smokes a ton. And then he got called into the
Oh
counselor.
my god.
I'm like remembering this as we're
You're a
going.
narc.
I'm a narc.
You're a narc.
I'm a narc for
I'm
sure.
freaking engaged to a narc.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, oh my God, I feel so bad. And then I think he like it probably didn't make the situation better. It's probably something like your story. But I remember him being like, did you say something or like why did she call me in and like know this? And I was like, what are you talking about?
And
I
you
was like, I don't know
lied.
what you're talking
That's
about.
crazy.
But in my head at the time, I was like, this is good. He's gonna get the help he needs. So,
The help he needs.
uh,
Oh my God.
I don't
Unfortunately,
even remember this guy or like who he was or what his name was. That's so sad. I'm so sorry.
that's crazy. You narked on him.
I
What if you
narked
fully changed the trajectory of his life
for the better.
for whatever?
If it's for the better, then let's go. Another story I had related.
Me being bad student, depressed, getting coerced into admitting my
Just a nice little recap.
yeah.
No, if I remember, I'll bring it up though.
Okay. So is it on me then? Do I need to tell another story about how dumb I am?
No, no. If we're telling stories, let me think.
Well, I don't know. It's up to you. The biggest story was how I almost got expelled
Mm-hmm.
and then I didn't. So I mean, that was like that was it. I feel like I have so many stories from high school, especially like my junior and senior year were like jam packed with like that was when I got all the good stuff.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. My freshman and sophomore year, I feel like I don't remember too much.
I feel like I don't remember high school in general, really. I remember hanging out with my friends and like all the stuff I liked, but
Mm,
as far as classes go, I wasn't like a great student.
mm-hmm,
I was a very much so like kind of a bare minimum student. We've
mm-hmm,
talked about this, but I was definitely one of those kids who didn't need to take notes.
mm-hmm,
I could remember everything. I had like a supersonic memory, and I remember like every 9 weeks when we'd have our like 9 weeks test, I would
mm-hmm.
like be reading those things and I'd be like, man, I remember this exactly when the teacher said it. And like I would know
Yeah.
the question answer and like I would always do phenomenal on those tests. Um, but I was really bad at turning in homework.
Mm-hmm.
I hated doing homework
I get it.
and I didn't want to get to school early. Well, one, I was never going to get to school early because my sister was a phenomenal professional late person. Like she
Mm-hmm.
always made me late for everything. So I was never going to get to school early to do my homework before class, and I was never
Mm-hmm.
going to stay after because I had theater
Yeah.
and I was going to go do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I never did any of my homework and I just really, really, yeah, I didn't have a great GPA, but in college I got really good,
Mm.
not only as a student, but as a way professional cheater. I was
Yeah.
I was a very professional cheater.
That's awesome.
Um, I think to get through college you have to be,
Yeah.
like to some degree. I think it teaches
Yeah.
camaraderie.
Resourcefulness,
Yes.
camaraderie.
Yeah.
Um, no, I get that. I had a 4.0 up until my junior year. That's when everything fell apart, which is also why it was very
Oh.
shocking for me to go from like having straight A's and being like a very good student
Mhm.
to then just like getting like D's, like having a bunch of
Mm.
D's on my report card.
Okay, so that's better context for why she was like, "What's going on with you?"
Yeah, yeah, no, it was like I get it. It was a switch up. Like I was going through it, but oh my God, I was gonna say something. What was I gonna say?
We can't keep doing this.
I my brain. Um, no, I think I was gonna talk about. I don't want to get into it on this show on this episode because like I feel like we could spend a whole episode of me talking about like my growing up and like going to a private Christian school
Mm.
and the propaganda machine because there's some stuff from like some of my classes that I'm looking back and I'm like that's crazy that teachers just said that and I was like yeah cool
Mhm.
like
We have
oh
very different experiences.
yeah
Me being public school, you being private school.
mm-hmm yeah
Just different very different communities we grew up into,
yeah
so
no actually what I was gonna say because you're talking about cheating and not doing homework and I was thinking about this the other day because obviously with ChatGPT like
Mm.
all I like so much of what I hear about it is just like students using it to cheat write their essays whatever I
Yeah.
even saw something about like a teacher using it to grade um so it's just like it's I
That's
mean it's
not okay.
ruining the education system but I had the thought like it could honestly probably end up being a really good thing if homework was just abolished.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
I'm a genuine believer that if we went back to pencil and paper, you would be taught there wouldn't be any homework. If you had like a worksheet or something, it would be done in class, you'd be taught in class.
Mhm.
Even for like writing essays, like instead of having to write a 10-page research essay, like
Mhm.
write a 1 to 2 page like essay in class about whatever. I feel like that could actually like do so much for the education system if
Yeah.
because like homework It does. It sucks. It's like
Mhm.
you're going to school for, I don't know, I get there at 8:30 and be there until 3:15, and
Mhm.
then I go to my basketball practice, which is 2 hours. I stay after for theater. That's like another hour, whatever. Like
Mhm.
I'm doing all these extracurricular activities that people want you to do and you're
Mhm.
encouraged to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, without even including homework, I'm spending 10 hours a day of my life
Mhm.
on school related activities.
Yeah.
And like, if you just made homework, like, because you can watch someone in class, it's like, if you're not doing the worksheet, like, they just have to do it. And then the teacher's right there to answer questions if they need help
Mhm.
on something.
Yeah. No, I think obviously there's so much that can be done about the education system, but it's honestly so messed up and very elitist, just school
Hmm.
in general. Cause yeah, like some kids get to go home and have parents who can help them with the homework.
Hmm.
Maybe some parents are like less educated or just not around. And it's
Hmm.
like it's messed up. That was one of the things for me. Not that I didn't have like computer and stuff, but we didn't have a printer. And
Yeah.
something like that affects you so much more than you think because yeah, you have to make the time to go and like print and make sure you have everything and it's like it just sucks like when there's kids
Yeah.
who do have all of that stuff, and it's like so much easier.
Hmm.
And to add that stress onto like a kid who has their all of their own things going on, it's pretty messed up.
Yeah.
I could talk about this forever.
No, it is. I mean, I stopped like doing homework. I especially like later, like junior year, I couldn't do it. I did the thing where I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna set an alarm for early in the morning, do it before school, and then
Oh,
just never did.
the biggest mistake.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Nick was an enabler because he would send me just like answers. Just he'd send me like his homework. I'd be like,
Mhm,
dude, when I was still in physics, I'd be like,
mhm.
I cannot figure out this problem, and then he'd just send it to me. Actually, I did spend a lot of late nights at his house doing physics homework with him because
Really?
it was like, it was that hard. We would just sit at his kitchen table
Mm,
and just try and do physics problems together, like with both of us and our combined brain power. And we were like, like honest to God, we were trying to do them. Like
mhm,
we were like with our books there, our worksheet in front of us, and calculators. We were trying to
mhm.
figure these things out, and they were still so hard. So
Yeah.
that's why I got a D.
Yeah, I remember my physics class. I honestly don't understand how I passed.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure we all were just like hurriedly like trying to copy each other's answers like right before class started and stuff. It was just physics is the worst. Is anyone good at physics?
There are people, and I really respect them because I understand that it's like a really good thing to have people that are smart at. Like,
Right.
like there
Someone's
need
got to
to,
do it.
yeah, there need to be smart physicists in the world.
Mhm.
Just not for me.
No, that's like magic.
Yeah, it is. It's sorcery. It's like, ugh, no, I
And I
could.
love math. So let's not get it twisted. I love
Oh,
math.
see, I'm not a math guy at all.
No, I well, okay, so maybe if I did physics in like college, it would be different, a different story. Because in
Mm.
college, I like, man, I got into that stuff and I was like all over that. But for physics in high school, it was not going to happen.
No, yeah, I was never a math person. I was always a writing, English literature type guy.
Mhm.
I love to write.
Classic soft boy tendencies.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I loved poetry. I write a lot of poetry,
Mhm.
write a lot of essays, read a lot of,
You do read a lot of books,
not as many as
or you did.
I want to read more books.
Trevor
Um,
knows a lot of words. That's one thing about Trevor that you wouldn't expect.
wouldn't anybody expect that?
Well, because I know that they don't expect it because I read the comments of videos you're in.
And people would be like, "Wow, that's a good word."
Yeah, they'll be like, "Wow, Trevor knows things." Like that joke was actually highly intellectual.
Okay,
They're like,
that's
nobody
tough.
laughed, but I got it. I'm like, all right, at least people at home are like catching the jokes.
Oh man. I am smart, and it sucks because I know I don't come across that way at all. I'm fully aware that I don't come across as like someone
Hmm.
like that you would be like, "Oh yeah, like that's an intelligent person."
I think people know you're a little intelligent. I don't think
A little.
I I didn't expect the level of intellect from you that you have when I first met you.
Okay.
And were you not smart, we probably would not have dated because I don't know if I could be with someone who's a little dummy. Like, I need someone who I can have, like, intellectual conversations with, like, one to
Mhm.
one, and I think that's something that shocked me about you is, like, we're on the same wavelength about a lot of things and, like, the same level of things. I don't know. Is this pretentious?
No, that's just so funny.
I mean, like, have you ever dated someone or talked to someone who just, like,
Yeah.
just doesn't get life on the level that you're on?
Yeah,
It's
I
so
totally
hard.
understand. I don't think that that's like a bad thing to say.
Yeah.
I totally understand that. That's just so funny that your first impression of me is that I wouldn't be that, and then you're
Mhm.
like, "Well, I'll give him a shot. I'm glad I proved myself
Mhm.
to be." The way you
What?
did that, you were like, looked over and you're like, "Mhm."
Yeah. Well, it's 'cause I this is another
You're
episode.
still on the fence.
Yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
jury's still out,
Yeah.
so we'll see.
Okay.
No, we'll do an episode about my first impression of you for sure.
Yeah, no, that's something I'm curious to hear because you talked about it a little bit, but I don't know. We've never had a conversation and sat down and talked like this,
Yeah,
where
usually
you
it's just
just
in the
get
car where I'm like,
yeah, we'll drop little things. That's why this is so fun because
mhm,
yeah, we talk a lot, but we never like talk for a long period of time about like a specific thing, you know?
mhm, mhm.
Well, next episode, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be the first impressions of Raven on me.
I would love to talk about your first impression of me.
Yeah, I was scared.
Okay, let's save it for the episode.
Everyone, that was a story about how I almost got expelled and a lot of other fun stuff from high school.
Mhm.
We got a little bit of depression story, Trevor.
Whoa.
It's funny. There's a lot more. There's a whole other side of high school that I could talk about that I kind of mentioned. So we'll come back to high school Trevor at some point and high
Who wants
school
us to talk
Raven.
about when we were depressed? Let us know.
Who wants to talk about my racist teachers? No, this was fun. This is fun.
Mhm.
I like this. I like getting to get. I don't often relive. I feel like high school things and look back, but it is funny to
Yeah.
look back. So we'll do it again sometime. Thank you for listening. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you to all of the members. The sport's been unreal. We appreciate it a ton. Let us know if there's a I don't know, if there's a topic that you think would be interesting, like things that you want to hear from us.
Yeah.
Um,
Let us know if you vibe with this vibe of us just kind of rambling and talking about things too. Or do
yeah,
you want something more cohesive and concise? Because
yeah. This is
I
a bit
can
of a
come
riff.
better planned.
Yeah. No, this was a bit of a riff. I don't know. I
Mhm.
kind of liked it. It did definitely like my brain was like my tangential brain was
Mhm.
definitely shooting off. But I liked it. It was fun. We do want to do a live stream. We want to set up like or we're planning to
Mhm.
hopefully do like maybe a monthly live stream at some point, where we can answer your questions and stuff in real time.
Yeah.
So we're planning that. Yeah, if that's something that sounds like be interested in, for sure, let us know.
Yeah. Doing a monthly live stream where we will stream from here. You'll get
Hmm.
to talk to us. And it'll be chat for the subs. So it'll just be like a nice little sleepover
Yeah,
for
yeah,
all of
yeah.
us. And yeah, we have like 15 subs now,
Yeah.
which is awesome. Thank you guys for subscribing.
This is YouTube. They're not subs, they're members.
Thank you guys for remembering.
For remembering. No, seriously, we really appreciate the support. Yeah, and thank you for watching. This has been Yap Time, and I'm Trevor,
And I'm
and
Raven.
we'll see you next Yap Time. Bye.